Hi guys, welcome back to the Caffeinated Classroom. If this is your first time here, my name is Marie and I am a high school English teacher in San Diego, California, and this is my virtual classroom. I have been teaching since the beginning, well, I've been teaching since March 15th, whatever that was, 2020, virtually, but the entire beginning of this year, the 2020-2021 school year, has been pretty much taught from this seat right here. And one of the pillars of my classroom is collaboration. And guess what's really hard to do over a video call with 40 teenagers? Get them to collaborate. It's like really hard. But I have honed down in on some strategies because I think it is important. I know in my heart of hearts and part of my teaching philosophy is that the more that students get to collaborate and interact with one another and problem solve and do things together and hear each other's thoughts, the deeper the learning goes and the more successful they will be in other ventures in their lives. So that is a worthy cause to figure out that problem. How do we get students to collaborate? I have 4 pretty good and very simple, deceptively simple strategies for you to get collaboration going again in your classroom. When it seems like it's too hard, we just simple it down. And I have them for you right now. Here we go. Okay, so before we get started, there are gonna be a couple of things that I talk about in this video. The first one is going to be some templates, Google Slides collaboration templates. So I want you to head down to the description box down below. There is a link there that you can get your hands on the templates that I use. It's very plain. It is just as simple as it sounds like, but it works wonders. And then I have another free thing for you. The month of November is a wonderful time. It's as good a time as any. Really, any time is a good time to be talking about gratitude and to be helping our students feel grateful and to foster gratitude in our students and in our classrooms. And so I have for you 3 full weeks of warm-ups, bell ringers, whatever you want to call them, or even like quick little ticket out the door activities that all have to do with gratitude. So you can also head down the description box, get those. I've got Google Slide templates, like I said, that I'm going to talk about in just a minute, and some gratitude bell ringers, 15 of them, 3 full weeks worth. You can use them in November. You can just steal the prompts and use them other times, whenever you want. They are here for you as my little showing of gratitude for you guys. So let's get on to what you actually came here for. You came here very likely because you are a teacher, like myself, and you know, like I said earlier in this video, that one of the best ways to deepen learning for our students is when they collaborate, when they work together and they problem solve and they push each other's critical thinking by sharing their own thought processes. And it's just amazing the things that can happen when human brains come together. It's also one of the most incredibly difficult things to do over a Zoom call. But I have boiled it down, like I said, to some pretty simple strategies. I'm gonna make this quick because no one really has a whole lot of time these days. Let's be honest with ourselves. And I have my notes just to keep me, you guys know how I can get chitty chatty sometimes. So I have my notes here to keep me like focused. My first tip is to tell them ahead of time. And by that I mean, give them the warning. Our students, many of them who are all virtual, are working from their kitchen table. They're working from their bedroom. They're working from the hallway where there's a random table in a nook and their parents are going by with laundry and their little brothers and sisters are going around and trying to get onto their own calls and that sort of thing. I mean, obviously everybody's in a different situation, but if we give them the warning that we're going to be doing some collaborative work. You're going to need to be able to talk to your classmates. You're going to need to be able to interact with your peers. That gives them a little forewarning and it gives them the chance to be able to prepare for it mentally, emotionally, physically. Our students have been home for a while. The world has been a little upside down. And by a little, I mean completely upside down, backwards and inside out. And our kids feel it. And so it's nerve-wracking to all of a sudden be around your peers and have to talk to them. If you give them a day of warning, maybe or give them the week at a glance and say, on Wednesday, we're gonna be doing some collaborative work, you're gonna be working in groups. It gives them a chance to prep. Would that maybe deter some kids from showing up to class? Sure, but you know what? We can't control everything. And maybe they have a really good reason. And we're just gonna give them that grace. And we're gonna give the kids who do show up the chance to prepare for that. The warning that I give my students is that they know Mondays and Wednesdays in my classroom, we have a routine, right? And I talked about this a couple videos ago. So if you head to my channel and you take a look, talk about what's keeping me sane right now and how I organize. I have a couple videos, what's keeping me sane and how I organize my virtual classroom. Routine, routine, routine. Mondays and Wednesdays, they are always going to be working in some sort of a group, whether it's pairs, whether it's a small group, a larger group, there's gonna be discussion. They know that they can bring their A game or like put it themselves together for that 80 minutes that we have class and then relax a little bit afterwards, but it helps. I've gotten feedback because I ask my students like what's working and they say, when you tell us what's going on, we can prepare. And that preparation, let's be honest with ourselves, that preparation for 15-year-olds isn't necessarily gonna be like going further and doing extra reading so they feel super prepared for their conversation. No, it just means that they can be in the right headspace. And that is, I'd say, 2/3 of the battle. So first tip, tell them ahead of time, let them prepare. My second tip is to give the most explicit and direct, no frills, no possible FAQs being addressed, the most specific directions you've ever given in your teacher life. The more specific the directions, the harder it is to deter from them, right? And it seems like as our students get older, like I teach sophomores and juniors right now, I should just be able to let the juniors go. And for the most part, we've gotten to the point where they've been trained in doing online collaborative work. And I can just say, today, here's what you're talking about. You need to cover this, this, this. You guys know what to do with it. And we're gonna get to that in a second, like giving them a place to do their work. Go. It's wonderful to be able to do that, but we are not in our normal classrooms and it took time to get there. We're in week 8 right now. Actually, we're going into week 9 of school this next week and it took that whole time. And still my juniors deter from the task at hand because they're kids and they're humans and they're excited to talk to other humans. The more specific the instructions, the more successful, especially like my sophomores have been at completing these tasks, and not just completing tasks with a group, but actually learning from and like developing thoughts and ideas, explicit instructions that are literally a task list. First, I want you all to put your name wherever I want you to put it. Secondly, the person with the birthday earliest in the year is going to begin by reading such and such passage, right? Like so specific so that there's no gray area, no wiggle room, and it takes the anxiety out of it for our students and it keeps us from having to ask or answer a ton of questions and like, you know, it feels like you're just pulling teeth. A lot of it is because they don't know where to start and they don't know what to do with themselves, so then they just shut down. Let's keep them from shutting down by giving them exact, specific tasks. And that might look different for everybody's classroom, right? But it helps quite a bit in helping them just know what to do with their hands, you know? Okay, third tip, create a space for their work to go. I made the mistake early on of telling students to just have their discussion and then you're gonna tell me about it afterwards. Yeah, that doesn't work for teenagers. That doesn't even work for adults. I've been put into breakout rooms during PD and like we just end up talking about the weekend. I'm talking to my friends and all of a sudden we're like, what were we supposed to be talking about? Our students do the exact same thing. So giving them a place to put their work is, it sounds so obvious. I'm telling you, none of these tips are revolutionary. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. I have a template for collaborative group work. Each of the groups, whether it's book club groups that are a regular group that meet over time, it's the same group of kids, or I just randomly put them into breakout rooms. I have them organized by color. So like the red group, the orange group, I just go Roy G. Biv, and then I have really big classes. So I have gray and I have pink and I have turquoise and I just random colors. And those colors are the background of their slides, and their slides are the exact same. And there's one humongous deck of slides that I give the entire class access to. And what that allows me for, what that allows for me, sorry, the words, is that I can watch all of the slides at once. I can watch all of the students at once while they're out in their breakout room groups, right? Because we can't see and hear what they're doing like we could in a classroom. We could just mill around. There's no milling around in Zoom or Google Meets. I can watch what's happening on their slides if I look at it like a grid view, and they know exactly what to do. I have the questions there. I have spots for them to put their answers. I have all the instructions in one place. And like I said, I have a couple examples. If you head to my Instagram that I've been talking about this lately, if you go and take a look, I have a highlight there that's called, I think, virtual learning, but I'm also just giving you this template. So check it out. down below, but give them a really specific place to put those specific directions you've given them, specific place to put their work. The last tip is to build in accountability, because we're gonna get to, okay, so in any group work setting, there's always going to be somebody like me who takes over and does everything and doesn't let anybody else do anything, right? And then there's also the other side of the spectrum, which is our kiddos who go, oh, awesome, I'm gonna turn off my camera, I'm gonna mute myself, I'm gonna let you guys just do all the work, and I'm gonna stay here. And then when we're done, I'm gonna put my name on it. Because that's just what some kids do. And there's a lot of different reasons, and we don't really need to unpack that right now. But the simple reminder that, for instance, my class, they're working on a Google slide, simple reminder that each of you has a specific role, and I can look and highlight every single piece of text and every single piece of content on your group slide to see who put it there. And if your name's not on it, that's a problem, right? That simple little reminder to remind students that we are in the land of Google and there's not a whole lot of cheating and getting by, those sorts of things, and just giving students like very specific roles. You're gonna be the recorder, you're gonna be the quote finder, you're gonna be the whatever, whether they're roles that happen in all the work in your classroom or that happen for a specific task that they're doing. It's just ways to alleviate anxiety, which alleviates frustration, which alleviates a lot of different things, right? So to go back over my tips, my first tip is to tell them ahead of time, give them time to prepare. My second tip is to give the most explicit instructions. My third tip is to put them, to give them a specific place to put their work and keep everything as tight and concise as you can. And my fourth tip is to build in accountability. And when you have those other pieces in place, it's easier to build in accountability. So, like I said, if you want those bell ringers, if you want the templates that I'm talking about for group work, head down to the links in the description box down below. If you have any questions, find me on Instagram. I'm at the Caffeinated Class. And thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time.